This unsettling footage was posted to TikTok by an account called Horse Noise Productions. The guy behind the camera wasn't on some ghost hunt or paranormal investigation. He claims he was simply running a LiDAR depth sensor to scan his home ahead of a redecoration project. But the moment he aimed the device down an empty hallway, it started picking up something completely invisible to the human eye.
What the? Do you see that? I was doing some LiDAR for my house for decorating, and it keeps showing that there's somebody here in my hallway. There is definitely nobody there. What the? No. No way. What? The is that? Oh shit.
A humanoid shape registers right in the middle of the depth map, apparently standing at the far end of the corridor. When he heads over to check it out though, there's absolutely nothing there. He looks through the surrounding rooms and finds no one. Yet when he comes back to the sensor, that strange figure hasn't gone anywhere. Then, without warning, its form starts to shift.
No. No way. What? The is that? Oh shit.
The unidentified shape grows bigger and more distinct. Two pointed protrusions emerge from above it, giving the whole thing an almost demonic silhouette. What makes it even more unsettling is that the figure appears to advance toward the device until the depth map floods entirely red and the footage itself starts breaking apart.
The is that? Oh shit.
It's worth noting that LiDAR sensors can occasionally render wall surfaces, reflective materials, or nearby objects as vaguely human outlines. Those apparent horns could just as easily be corrupted sensor data, but that still doesn't answer the one question that's hard to shake. What exactly was the device detecting in that empty hallway? And why did it seem to be closing in? A woman named Mia posted a video recounting how she was jolted awake at roughly 2:30 in the morning by strange sounds coming from somewhere inside her home. She lives entirely on her own, with only her cats for company. So the moment those noises reached her ears, her immediate fear was that an intruder had gotten inside. Shaken but determined, she picked up her phone and crept downstairs to track down the source of the disturbance. Once she hit the ground floor, she moved carefully from room to room, scanning in every direction, but nothing seemed out of place or could account for what she'd heard. Convinced it was probably just a false alarm, she turned around and headed back toward her room. Then, just as she was climbing the stairs, something stopped her cold.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
The moment she sets foot on the staircase, Mia freezes. Heavy, rhythmic footsteps start thundering through the attic directly overhead, as though something were pacing frantically back and forth up there. She doesn't hesitate for a second. She bolts back into her bedroom, locks herself in, and dials the police. Officers arrive shortly after, and one of them takes it upon himself to get to the bottom of it. The moment the attic hatch swings open, he climbs up and begins combing the space for any trace of an unwanted visitor.
You really didn't see anything?
Yeah, there's nobody up there. I don't see any drug paraphernalia or food wrappers, clothes, nothing to indicate any squatter of any kind. So, I think you're okay. I think you're probably just dealing with a rodent.
Okay, but I heard footsteps running the length of the ceiling.
Yeah, sometimes raccoons, like, they can make a lot of noise. It sounds very deceiving. If you want, I can call the fire department. They can bring a ladder. We can get up there and look more, but I'm pretty sure you're just dealing with a rodent here. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, copy. My advice, get some of those Ring cameras, set them up around the perimeter, you know, and if there's any sort of commotion, they usually trigger, and then you can see. Yeah, but that's my advice.
Yeah.
You are the homeowner, right?
I am. Yeah, I am.
Okay, so you might want to bring in someone, check the roof perimeter as well. My partner's already gone around the house completely. Doesn't see anything, so. Sorry, wish we could be more help, but you did the right thing by calling.
After going through every corner of the attic, the officer descends and reports that he found absolutely nobody up there. Unable to pinpoint the origin of the sounds, he advises Mia to set up security cameras around the house, reasoning that if anything happened again, the footage would make it far easier to identify the cause. With no better option available, she takes his suggestion, and for the next several days, the house stays quiet. That calm, however, proves short-lived. Just a few nights later, she's pulled from sleep once again by the same unsettling sounds. Heart pounding, she grabs her phone and heads toward wherever the noise seems to be coming from, and when she arrives, she comes face to face with something she still cannot explain to this day. Unsure of what to make of any of it, Mia decided to upload the full collection of clips to her social media accounts, hoping that someone out there might have an answer. The response was immediate. The videos drew in thousands of viewers and spread rapidly across multiple platforms. Off the back of all that attention, she recorded a follow-up video going into much greater depth about everything that had been unfolding since that very first sleepless night.
Going on lately, and I've been in a really bad place, but I decided to step back from social media so that I can focus.
As Mia herself has openly admitted, she has absolutely no idea what's behind any of these incidents. And honestly, after going through all of that footage myself, I can say I walked away with far more questions than I started with. There may well be a rational explanation hiding somewhere in all of this, or there may be a crucial piece of the puzzle that's never actually come to light. As always, I'll let you be the judge of that one. This unsettling video was posted to TikTok by a user going by the name iced.tlemon. The uploader claims that a rider on a motorcycle had a deeply frightening experience while making his way down an isolated dirt road in the dead of night. The path was hemmed in on both sides by dense trees and heavy brush, with virtually no trace of human life anywhere nearby. As he pressed on through the pitch black, he spotted a pale shape standing motionless some distance ahead. Rather than turning back, he kept moving toward it, all while keeping his camera pointed at what was in front of him.
Apa kau bikin di situ kawan? Mau pergi mana juga kau ini? Wih, sampai dua. Mau pergi mana kau? Jalanlah, aku mau limpas nih. Budak-budak baik. Jalanlah. Jalanlah kawan. Budak-budak baik. Tapi ya. Oke ya, sambil jatuh pula. Aku limpas ya dulu kawannya, jangan kawan mah. Situ sih kau ha. Aku limpas dulu ya. Budak-budak bayi ini. Aku limpas dulu kayak mau antar laporan lagi aku ini. Situlah kau. Limpas dulu kawan. Limpas dulu kawan. Limpas dulu. Hai, kayaknya bawa mu kawan. Macam bawa kemangian kau kawan.
Drawing closer, the figure came into sharper focus. It appeared to be a woman in a long white gown, her dark hair draped across much of her upper body. At no point during the encounter did the figure move so much as an inch. Even when the motorcycle passed within just a couple of feet, there was absolutely no reaction. Once he was clear of it, the rider quickly dropped his camera and rode on without a single glance behind him. To this day, nobody can say with any certainty what he actually encountered out there. Some people watching the footage suspect it could have been a white sheet thrown over some object, or maybe someone deliberately trying to spook drivers passing through. Others can't get past the question of why any person would be standing perfectly still on an abandoned road at that hour, and so the clip continues to fuel endless debate. Italian YouTuber Simone B claims his grandmother had been dealing with a series of unsettling incidents inside her house. She told him the television would switch on by itself, windows would open without anyone touching them, and she'd occasionally hear mysterious voices echoing through the rooms. Simone wasn't really buying it, but he agreed to stay the night while she was out of town. He didn't go in expecting anything unusual, but before long, eerie sounds started emanating from somewhere within the walls.
Sono a casa di mia nonna. Allora, non so se sentite, praticamente sono a casa di mia nonna da solo. E non so se sentite, ci sono un sacco di rumori che vengono da di sopra. Qui e lì. Allora, qui ho penso. No, vabbè, la luce va. Aspetta.
Simone notices that the lights on the upper floor aren't functioning. With the house plunged into unexpected darkness, he picks up a flashlight and cautiously makes his way upstairs to track down the source of the noise.
A parte che c'è un gran rumore di vento e mi sto cagando in mano solo per quello. E adesso sembra che ha smesso tutto quanto. Ragazzi, mi sto cagando in mano.
C'è per la finestra da sola. Non va bene.
No, vabbè. No, vabbè.
Despite being the only person in the building, Simone witnesses a window and a closet door swing open on their own. At this point, everything his grandmother had been telling him doesn't seem quite so dismissible anymore, because it's all apparently unfolding right before his eyes.
Ragazzi, io sono terrorizzato, ma proprio nel... Direi che vado via, perché nei film consiglio sempre questa cosa qua. Quindi non sono più stupido. Ti giuro, vi giuro, non riesco neanche a parlare oggi perché pratico. No, vabbè, aspetta. Oh no, vabbè, il letto è fatto. Gli sportelli sono aperti. E il letto... Cioè, prima il letto non era così. Era... Non ho la voce, ve lo giuro. Non ho la voce. Ok, no. Ora vado. Mi sembra il caso di proseguire con questa cosa, non so come. Ok, il vaso non era lì. Questo vaso non era lì.
A chandelier starts swaying without any apparent cause. Then, just as Simone is preparing to leave, he hears something stirring in his grandmother's bedroom. He goes to check and finds the bed covers perfectly straightened, as though someone had just tidied them. The cabinet doors are hanging wide open too. Shortly after, they shift again, and Simone decides he's reached his limit, but as he turns to walk away, there's a vase now resting at the top of the staircase. At that moment, Simone picks up the sound of more movement coming from the guest bedroom. Despite everything he's already witnessed, he pushes himself to go and look. Did you catch that? For just a fraction of a second, a dark, shadowy figure appears to lunge towards Simone as he peers into the room. He panics and bolts, refusing to spend another moment in that house. Over the following 7 months, Simone and his grandmother began to wonder whether the disturbances might be connected to an old scarf she had won at a church raffle. With her blessing, Simone says he eventually got rid of the scarf, and after that, the strange occurrences in the home reportedly came to an end. In 2022, YouTuber Dog Vlogs made a return trip to an abandoned Canadian home, this time bringing fellow explorer Life of Deej along with him. He'd already been through the place roughly a month prior and walked away with a strong sense that whoever had lived there had cleared out in a panic. Furniture, kids' toys, clothing, all of it untouched, right where it had been abandoned. The goal this time around was straightforward: document the rooms more thoroughly and try to piece together what had become of the family.
I'm shaking because I'm cold, guys. You guys probably can't see it much on the camera, but it's still open. That's a good sign.
They got in the same way as before, through a gap that had never been boarded up, but the yard had a different energy to it. Before they'd even made it to the door, something large crashed through the undergrowth just a few feet off to their side.
In the bush right here. There was just something really big.
Alright guys, sorry that was a rocky start.
You'll figure out more to the story, which we figured out, on why that's left behind.
Once they were inside, the house started giving up its secrets. On the upper floor, tucked behind a wall, someone had constructed a series of makeshift chambers using styrofoam and plastic sheeting. One, then another, then a third. The place had been running a grow operation, and not a large-scale one. Just a few plants cultivated in improvised enclosures barely a hallway away from a child's room. The family had been caught before cannabis was made legal in Canada, lost the property as a result, and everything they'd ever owned remained sealed inside.
That's only a couple plants, but they got arrested before it was legalized in Canada.
Yeah.
So even one plant was illegal back then.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
Which is messed up. They would have went to jail for this. Now this is legal.
I know, it's crazy how the laws have changed, eh?
They lost their house.
What the two of them discovered above the bedrooms was harder to explain. The attic had no proper flooring, just exposed beams stretching across the dark. They picked their way across, past years of accumulated belongings and a line of old dolls that had been positioned to face the narrow walkway. A strange haze kept drifting across the camera lens with no obvious source. Then, from somewhere beneath them, in a house they had already swept twice, a voice.
We just gotta make sure we don't fall through this roof, guys.
Now stay on the beams, eh?
For sure.
Oh shit.
Oh!
Creepy!
I don't like those guys.
Just looking at us.
While the two were making their way through the property, something suddenly stopped them cold.
Hello?
Hello?
What the fuck was that? Hello?
One particular room had been sealed shut on his previous visit, 2 planks nailed across the frame with no way past them. Now only one remained, and it had been pulled free. The door behind it was wide open. Neither of them was eager to be first through it. The smell hit them before anything else did, and at the far end of the room, beyond the mattress, there was something.
The last
Whoa.
2 rooms are upstairs.
Last time Mo and I were here, that was locked.
What?
This door. We couldn't get into that. It had 2 boards on it. Now there's only 1.
You think it's actually open now? It looks open.
It looks open.
Oh, the fuck
I'm
is it going
scared.
on?
After just hearing that noise.
What if somebody's in there? Because it looks like someone might be staying here. I don't know.
Like, Mo and I filmed this, like, maybe a month ago. That was close.
Who knows?
Kind of
Who
sketchy to
knows
go
what the
check
fuck
it.
is in there? Should we go in there? Should we guys go through this room now? What's going on? It seems like
Yeah, it's definitely open.
They push themselves to go in, with no idea that what they're about to come face to face with is going to shake them. Here's the moment it all hits.
You go open it. Look at the wide angle on it, just in case. That stinks.
Oh.
What the
fuck?
fuck?
Oh.
Yo!
The second Deke stepped inside, it became clear. A body was sprawled across the floor. It turned out to be a deer carcass, the stench overwhelming, and he wasted no time getting back out.
Do you not see that at the very end? That's a body.
Is it?
There's a body in there. Yo, yo. Hello? Are you alive?
Yo, that's the guy's head.
That is somebody laying there, dude.
Yo, that's somebody laying there. See that? Oh my god, that's somebody fucking laying there.
What the fuck? They're not even moving. Hello?
Wait, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Hey, you okay?
What the fuck is that? You guys see that? That's literally a person. What the fuck should we do? We should go.
We're gonna have to call the police.
Whatever was lying at the back of that room wasn't moving, wasn't making a sound, and showed no response to their flashlight. The 2 of them retreated from the property immediately and dialed the police once they reached the road. That's where the footage ends. Viewers have been debating it ever since. The intensity of the smell convinced a lot of people that the death had been recent, and that a single loosened plank pointed to someone entering the room from the outside and leaving something behind. The most straightforward explanation, though, is that a man removed the board himself, walked in, and was never seen again. Shireen, a mother living in an apartment with her kids, was overcome with fear one night and broke down in tears. At first, she assumed the knocking she heard at her door was just the sound of renovation work being carried out by the neighbors upstairs. But what she was actually hearing was something far more disturbing than that. Listen carefully. When she brought it up with her neighbors the following day, they insisted they hadn't heard a thing. And on top of that, the renovations in their unit had been finished a long time ago. The realization that someone might be lurking just outside her home left Shireen in a state of real distress, especially knowing her young children were right there with her. A few more nights went by, and eventually the eerie sounds faded away. Shireen also went quiet on her social media, stopping her updates entirely. Then, out of nowhere, she posted a photo she had casually snapped inside her bedroom, and it shook her to her core. On the surface, the image looks completely unremarkable, but once it's zoomed in and enhanced, a pale, ghostly face becomes unmistakably visible, suggesting that some kind of presence had been in that room, watching both her and her children. Shireen was adamant that from the moment the knocking started, she had been obsessive about keeping the door locked. It was shut tight that night and still locked come morning, which means nobody physically entered the home. And yet, whatever that figure was has never been explained. So, what's your take on this? On December 6th, 25, a woman named Marissa documented something truly terrifying after rushing back to her home late at night. Marissa had only moved into a new townhome in Baldwinsville, New York with her girlfriend a few weeks prior when unsettling things began occurring inside the house. On this particular evening, Marissa's sister had come over to visit. Marissa headed out to grab a bite with her girlfriend and a friend, while her sister chose to stay behind. Left alone in the house, her sister started killing time scrolling through TikTok when something frightening unfolded that sent her scrambling to get Marissa back immediately. The moment Marissa pulls up, she can hear her sister in a complete panic and starts filming right away.
What? Stop! Relax!
There's a fucking kid upstairs, I'm not joking!
What do you mean?
I was down there with them, you can see that camera, there's like, I heard it twice.
Heard what?
I can't laughing.
Okay, relax.
I literally looked back, I ignored it, then it happened again, and I got up and started freaking out. You can see that camera.
Okay, relax.
No,
I just left them here at the store.
No, there's a kid upstairs laughing. That's why I asked him why it's there.
Oh my god, dude. Upstairs?
Yes, it sounded just like a kid, like a high-pitched voice. Twice. You literally see me look at the thing twice. And I thought it was TV, but it wasn't.
Why it's not here? Oh my, dude, I just rushed and left them there.
Nobody caught it in the moment, but listening back to the footage, you can actually make out what sounds like a child laughing, the same voice Marissa's sister had been hearing. Now keep in mind, Marissa had only just moved in and shares the home exclusively with her girlfriend. There are no children living there. But between the mysterious voice and her sister's visible distress, Marissa decides she needs to check upstairs. They search the area and come up empty. So the next stop is the attic. She secures her phone to a broomstick and pushes it up through the attic opening, and what it captures is deeply unsettling. Pay close attention to what appears on screen.
You good?
Oh, she's gonna move it back.
Push it like this. There you go. You gonna grab it? Wish my phone didn't drop up there.
No one's going to get it.
It's a whole other mission to get my phone out, I'm telling you right now. So I'm not leaving my phone up there.
I know. Smart though, because
Oh, I should upstairs.
I'm just gonna spin it a couple times. Just spin it around. Just try to go as slow as you can. Look either downstairs or upstairs, so I don't. It's gotta be there somewhere.
Oh, what the fuck? There's like one of the wooden.
What are the one what?
One of the wooden like posts holding the ceiling up. All of them. The ones going across like this at the angle. They're all charred.
Is that
Burnt.
like the house?
Like they're charcoal.
Really?
Yeah, just those holding the ceiling up.
Like there was like a fire. It's like feathered almost. It's weird.
That's literally like.
As she slowly rotates the camera, what appears to be a drop of blood becomes visible. Then, as the lens swings toward a gray box, a pale, ghostly face seems to appear inside it or reflect back from it, only to vanish the instant the camera continues panning. Plenty of viewers also pointed out that one of the beams appeared to have scorch marks, as though the place had been through a fire at some point, which may be connected to whatever face was lurking up there. After digging into the history of the property, Marissa discovered the house dates back to 1886 and likely carries a lot of dark, undocumented history. On a separate occasion, something strange and inexplicable unfolded that ended up sparking a conflict between Marissa and her girlfriend.
Me and my girlfriend, we get into a little fight about something stupid. I go upstairs into our bedroom. She stays on the couch downstairs. I'm dead sleeping in the bedroom. She was downstairs. All of a sudden, she's sitting on the couch scrolling through TikTok. She hears this noise and it got louder and louder and louder. This noise was a woman moaning. This noise increasingly went from 0 to 11. But when she heard that, my girlfriend thought I snuck a female upstairs. She throws the dogs off her and runs upstairs and kicks the bedroom door open. And when she did that, I jumped out of my sleep and she's like, "What the are you doing?" "What are you talking about? I'm sleeping." I start panicking in my own room. I close the door. She goes outside to go sit in her car to catch some air. to relax. I hear her open the door, go outside. I hear her open her car door, close it. I hear her car start. All of a sudden, I hear, it sounded like someone had a bat and was banging on my truck. I said, get in the house now. So she came upstairs and she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, why the are you beating on the truck? I'm like, we just moved in here.
Following that incident, Marissa heads down to take a closer look at their basement, where she notices something that immediately raises red flags.
What is that? Why is there a wood piece covering a wood piece in this creepy basement?
A wooden plank is found laid over a larger piece of wood, suggesting there may be a concealed floor hidden underneath. What makes it even stranger is that throughout this basement video, her auto captions began picking up voices speaking in multiple different languages, and once her sister translated them, here's what they revealed.
This is the first one, and it translates to that, and it says, the most important thing is this. Now it gets creepier, and we translated it, and it went to this. And we looked up what that means. A gender-neutral name of African origin meaning second born of twins. Then we went to this one, and it says break up. Do you guys remember me telling you the spirit that made the sexual moaning upstairs and my girlfriend thought I was cheating on her at 12:30 at night?
They've come to believe that something malevolent inside the house is actively trying to drive a wedge between them and cause harm. Given the unexplained sounds that triggered their argument and the translated phrases captured in the basement, it's very hard to write any of this off as coincidence. But the biggest question still hanging in the air is what exactly is concealed beneath that basement floor, and what was staring back at them from the attic. This mystery is far from solved. TikTok creator Francisco Javier claims the unsettling events in his Spanish home kicked off after he stumbled upon a desolate abandoned farm out in the middle of nowhere. He describes the location as being absolutely saturated with paranormal energy.
Que no sé, tío, está por aquí. Hola. Escúchenlo. ¿Qué va? Coña. Ahora sí, me caos. Ahora sí me lo hizo detrás de mí.
While Francisco is filming at the property, a door suddenly crashes shut right behind him. From that point on, he becomes convinced that something from that forsaken place may have hitched a ride back with him.
Empiezo a grabar porque estoy escuchando sonidos desde el baño muy raros y estoy solo en casa. Dentro del baño. ¿Qué cojones?
Once back at his apartment, Francisco suspects he might not be dealing with just a single entity. He starts picking up on mocking voices, strange laughter, and even the sound of someone weeping in the dead of night. On one occasion, Francisco hears what he can only describe as a baby crying somewhere inside his home. Deeply unsettled, he goes through every room looking for an explanation, but comes up completely empty. Then, on a separate night, things take an even darker turn when his Amazon Alexa begins behaving in a way it never should.
¡Qué susto!
A female voice appears to cackle through the device, but the moment Francisco rounds the corner, it cuts off completely. Then something else speaks. A far deeper, far more menacing voice that calls out his name. With no clue how to make it stop, Francisco tries to push through and carry on with his daily routine. But one evening while he's relaxing on the couch watching television, the disturbances come creeping back.
Acabo de empezar a escuchar a tocar desde esa puerta. ¿Están tocando desde ahí? ¿O es cosa mía? Quiero ver. ¿Hola? No puede ser. ¿Qué coño es eso? ¿Qué coño es eso, tío? ¿Qué coño es eso? ¿Qué cojones? Hay una luz aquí encendida también. Es loco.
Francisco hears a series of knocks coming from his hallway door. He gets up to investigate and spots what looks like a small child peering in through the window. He throws the door open, but the hallway is completely empty. So did something latch onto Francisco during that visit to the abandoned farm? Was he being tormented by multiple spirits? Or was this whole thing one carefully staged performance? That's for you to decide. These next clips come from a content creator named Sabrina Coven, who specializes in men's hair and beard grooming. Starting in 2020, she began posting a string of videos that left a lot of people deeply unsettled. According to Sabrina, her apartment has always had an eerie quality to it. Doors and cabinets moving on their own, strange sounds with no obvious source. Then, one evening, the security camera she had set up in her living room recorded what she calls the most disturbing thing she's ever experienced there. It appears as if some invisible presence violently launches the cat across the room, right before a chair slowly drags itself away from the table with no one near it. Sabrina later came out to reassure her followers that her cat was physically unharmed, though clearly rattled by the whole ordeal. Just a few days after that incident, the very same camera triggered its motion detector and caught something else entirely. Whether those lights you're seeing are dust particles, bugs flying past the lens, or something that defies explanation altogether is really anyone's guess. But taken alongside what that camera recorded only days before, it's not hard to see why Sabrina became convinced that something beyond the ordinary had taken up residence in her home. So where do you stand on this? A run of bizarre coincidences, or was she genuinely not alone in that apartment? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Joshua made quite the first impression on TikTok when his very first post documented a horrifying experience his sister went through inside their new home. Josh was still in the process of settling in when his sister found herself completely alone in the house one day. It wasn't long before she started picking up on strange sounds drifting up from the basement. Wanting to be cautious, she pulled out her phone and hit record. She slowly crept her way downstairs, but what unfolded next sent her sprinting away in sheer panic.
I've been hearing some creepy noises down here for a while, and I'm scared. I wanted to try and record it, because no one's gonna believe me. Now, as soon as I record it, nothing happens, okay? Huh? No. You gotta be. What the hell? This isn't funny. This has gotta be a prank. Hello? Oh, thank God. Hello? Guys, this isn't funny. What the? No. Hello? Hello? I'm coming in. Skills. Okay, this is getting weird. What? Is that the chair? Oh, God. I'm getting out of this place. What the?
As she stood by herself in the basement, the sudden bang of a door slamming shut caught her completely off guard. Within seconds, the lights died. She reached over to flip the switch, but nothing happened. Then, as she peered into the pitch black corridor ahead, a glow spilled out from one of the rooms, and cutting through that eerie light was a dark shadow drifting across the floor, as if someone was lurking just beyond view. She worked up the nerve to go check it out, but the room was completely empty. Moments after that, 3 sharp, deliberate knocks rang out from a nearby room. She followed the sound, only to find that room just as empty as the last. A few weeks down the line, Joshua had a deeply terrifying encounter of his own.
Took that damn video every single night at the same time this knocking starts. Terrifying the first few days, but now it's just annoying the hell out of us. Yup, I hear ya. Hey. Nothing. Always nothing. Brand new house too. And now this door is open. To the creepy ass room. God damn it. What the? Oh my God. Oh my God.
After witnessing something that disturbing, I'd have had that house listed on the market by the very next morning. But here's the real question. Is this an actual haunting, or has the whole thing been staged? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What initially appears to be a routine dashcam clip recorded on a deserted highway in the early morning hours gives no indication that anything is off. The stretch of road is completely clear and everything looks normal, until something deeply unsettling drifts into view just moments later. See for yourself what the camera captured. A woman, clothed entirely in white, is standing at the roadside in what appears to be the middle of nowhere. The driver, visibly shaken, immediately hits the brakes, struggling to process what he's looking at. There are no other cars around, no buildings in sight, and absolutely nothing to explain why anyone would be out there at that time of night. Once he's past her, he glances back in his mirror just to confirm his eyes weren't playing tricks on him. To this day, nobody has been able to identify the mysterious woman or account for her presence alone in the dark, and the experience has stayed with the man ever since. The video begins in almost complete blackness, the kind that forces the camera to fight for focus before it can render anything coherent. Whoever's behind the lens is moving with caution, the image shifting and drifting the way handheld recordings do when someone is trying to stay silent while keeping the shot going. Nothing about the composition looks staged or pre-planned. It has the feel of something captured instinctively, not assembled for viewers.
Não tem nenhum sentinela aqui na frente, por quê? Essa aqui é a única entrada e a única saída. Então, não há necessidade de segurança. Nós vamos aqui abrir a sala onde é que o Juca está. É um momento de grande tensão. E é isso aí, seja o que Deus quiser. Tô nervoso, meu óculos está até embaçando. Vamos nessa, vamos ver.
The clip is said to have come from a colonel, allegedly recorded somewhere inside a military installation in Brazil, and that single detail alone is a large part of why it has continued to spread and resurface across the internet for so long. This is not just another anonymous clip shot in someone's garden or a shadowy corner of a private home, the type that appears online constantly and disappears just as fast. Instead, this is something purportedly sourced from deep inside a restricted and heavily controlled facility, a location the general public cannot access, and one where footage of this nature would not easily find its way out without either a deliberate decision or a very unusual set of circumstances. That claimed origin dramatically raises the stakes when it comes to evaluating what the video actually shows, and what it might mean if even a portion of the surrounding claims hold up. A military base carries with it a degree of security, structured oversight, and limited access that ordinary locations simply do not, which makes the appearance of something unexplained within those walls considerably harder to brush aside. It points to whatever was filmed having occurred in an environment where anomalies are theoretically among the least likely things to manifest, let alone go unacknowledged by the personnel responsible for that space.
Posso chegar mais perto? Vai ficar para podermos estar porque ele pode reagir negativamente com a câmera.
Through most of the recording, there is only a vague presence within the frame, an indistinct form half swallowed by darkness that could be interpreted in any number of ways. The camera stays locked on it regardless, following its movement, with no obvious light source accounting for how any of it is visible in the first place. It is only toward the very end that the image closes in and the form becomes unmistakable, its proportions and features matching the widely recognized description of a gray alien. Elongated skull, large dark eyes, all of it. That final moment of clarity is precisely what sets this clip apart from the enormous pile of blurry, inconclusive recordings that never managed to show anything definitive at all. A man named Joshua from the US runs a TikTok page alongside his sister. The account has just 3 videos total, created specifically to document the disturbing and unexplained activity taking place inside their house. In this footage, Joshua decides to grab his phone and go investigating after hearing the same strange knocking sounds downstairs that his sister had described in an earlier post.
That damn video every single night at the same time this knocking starts. Terrifying the first few days, but now it's just annoying the hell out of us. Yup, I hear ya. Fucking A. Nothing. Always nothing. Brand new house too. And now this door is open. To the creepy ass fucking room. God fucking damn it. Hey, what the fuck? Oh my fucking god. Oh my god.
Almost the second Joshua enters the dimly lit corridor, you can make out aggressive pounding coming from directly behind one of the doors. Without hesitating, he heads straight for it and throws it open, only to find the room completely vacant. Just as he's registering that nobody is there, he spots another door further down the hallway that is swung open entirely on its own. Joshua cautiously moves into the second room to turn the light off. But the instant that bulb cuts out and the space is swallowed by darkness, the door behind him violently crashes shut, as though some unseen presence had been patiently waiting for exactly the right moment to trap him inside. Plenty of viewers flooded the comments claiming they could spot a dark shadowy figure standing in the room right after the door moved. We went ahead and boosted the contrast on the footage ourselves, but we weren't able to say with any certainty whether it was a genuine paranormal presence or simply a natural shadow produced by the A-Man, by the name of Nolan Brock, uploaded a clip to his social media account in February 2023 featuring home security footage recorded inside his own living room. Nolan explained that he had dozed off on the couch without realizing it, and when he went back and watched the recording, it left him genuinely shaken. See for yourself what his camera picked up. Right away, peculiar sounds can be heard near the doors as they begin drifting open on their own. Nolan stirs briefly, glances around the room, then drifts back to sleep. A little while later, the footage jumps forward to another moment where he's once again out cold on the couch. Without warning, one of the doors crashes violently shut, jolting him awake in a state of total confusion. What really gets under your skin about this clip is how gradually it all unfolds. The doors don't just bang shut out of nowhere. They creep and shift slowly before the more dramatic event takes place. That slow build is exactly why so many people in the comments were convinced this could be evidence of something paranormal. Now, a rational explanation isn't entirely off the table. Things like air circulation through the house or something happening just outside the frame could account for it. Still, the way those doors move and ultimately slam shut doesn't look like anything you'd consider normal. So, where do you land on this one? A genuine brush with the supernatural, or just a bizarre set of circumstances? On October 1st, 2025, a TikTok creator going by the name FabbyKME uploaded a clip describing a deeply disturbing experience that allegedly took place inside their own home. They explained that while relaxing indoors one afternoon, they suddenly picked up on a sound that resembled their alarm going off. The strange part, though, is that they don't believe it was their alarm at all. Their theory is that the noise was being produced by what paranormal folklore refers to as a mimic. See for yourself what unfolded. As that eerie alarm-like sound keeps going, something else begins to demand your attention. If you direct your eyes toward the upper right side of the doorway, you can just about distinguish what looks like a tall, shadowy figure peering around the edge of the frame. Then, in the final moments of the footage, that figure gradually pulls itself back out of view, which somehow makes the whole thing even more unsettling. That said, there's an equally plausible explanation here. the figure may have been intentionally planted as part of an elaborate setup. Given how prominently it appears in the doorway, the possibility of a hoax is difficult to dismiss entirely. Whether this person genuinely came face to face with something supernatural or simply put together a well-executed scare is something the footage alone can't answer. So, was this a mimic haunting their home, or just a carefully crafted piece of fiction? That one's yours to call. In what appears to be a perfectly ordinary suburban street, a home security camera managed to capture something that continues to puzzle the people who live nearby. The scene looks completely undisturbed. Vehicles lined up along the curb, the street calm and still, right up until the moment it isn't. Without any warning, a dark figure materializes between two parked cars, seemingly out of thin air. It holds its position for several seconds, its outline unmistakably human yet impossible to identify clearly, before disappearing just as abruptly as it arrived, never once stepping out of the frame. There's no visible approach, no visible exit, and absolutely nothing to account for how it got there or where it went. It's a split second frozen in time, and it's one that nobody has been able to fully explain. Captured by a security camera somewhere in Peru, this footage comes from a location built around an ancient well that locals believe is haunted. Late one night, the guards on duty began hearing bizarre noises coming from the direction of the well, so they headed outside to check it out, yet they found no sign of anyone. It wasn't until they pulled up the camera footage that they came face to face with something truly chilling and hard to believe.
Uy, se paró. ¡Está vivo!
At first glance, aguas saucisars what looks like a person can be spotted crouched near the well, but then the figure shifts and begins to turn translucent, seemingly peering down into the depths below. Moments later, a second semi-transparent shape materializes and drifts away from the well entirely.
Uy, se paró. ¡Está vivo!
Many people who have seen this footage consider it one of the most convincing recordings ever made of what appears to be an actual ghost caught in plain sight. First-time viewer and fellow YouTuber who goes by the handle Wishy got in touch with us regarding a live stream recorded at the supposedly haunted Melville Cemetery in Melville, New York. According to Wishy, his friend Brian headed out to broadcast a live Ouija board session from the cemetery grounds while his crew watched and communicated with him over Discord. Now, Melville Cemetery sits along Sweet Hollow Road, a stretch of pavement that carries a long and dark reputation for tragedy and the supernatural. One of the area's most well-known legends involves a school bus driver who lost control of his vehicle and plunged off the bridge that crosses Sweet Hollow Road, killing every child on board. Another tale tells of 3 young boys who ended their lives by hanging themselves from that same bridge. Needless to say, both Sweet Hollow Road and the cemetery itself are widely regarded as deeply haunted places. Brian is connected to his friends via Discord. You can hear them in the background throughout, and he's streaming the whole thing live as he sets up a Ouija board session just outside the cemetery's front gate. From there, things begin to unravel fast, and what unfolds is genuinely unsettling.
Yo, that's moving. Yo, oh my god, we're close.
Why is it going to no?
It said no?
It said no.
Be like, yo, the camera's moving. Yo, bro, the camera's moving.
Bro, I'm leaving, bro. Yo, I'm leaving. Was it you that moved the camera? Bro, the fucking car is going off, bro. 4K. Yo!
Shaken but holding it together, Brian manages to regroup, adjust his camera angle, and keep the stream going.
Any spirits here that would like to talk to me? Bro, I didn't even ask it.
That's insane, dude.
Was that you that just turned on the alarm?
Okay?
Yes. Bro. Bro. I left the keys over. I'm panicking, bro. Where the
Though clearly rattled, Brian's friends are urging him to go back and properly close out the Ouija session by saying goodbye. In paranormal circles, ending a session without that formal farewell is considered a serious error, one that's said to leave the contacted spirit tethered to whoever used the board. So Brian returns, and this is where everything falls apart.
I took the lights and everything. Bro. Oh my f***ing god, bro. Bro, the board went in.
Get the phone, get your phone. Get out there, bro. Oh my god, I saw that. We caught down here.
I'm leaving, bro.
Yo! Get the f*** out of here! Get the f*** out of here! Out.
I'm leaving.
Bro, get the f*** out!
Without warning, the Ouija board slides across the pavement on its own and passes through to the other side of the locked gate, landing inside Melville Cemetery. Brian starts walking away, but given everything that's already happened, the worry about not saying goodbye starts eating at him again. He turns back, determined to hop the fence and get the board.
I'm jumping the fence. Bro, Chris, look at the stream.
Oh my god, bro.
There's a big fire in there.
There's a fire?
There's a fire.
Get out of there, run. Yo, get out there, I'm not gonna get out of here.
Somewhere along the road inside the cemetery, a fire is visibly burning. Despite his friends pleading with him to just walk away, Brian feels compelled to retrieve that board no matter what.
It's in, you didn't see it? No. Bro, you had to be so No, I wasn't on my phone. I was looking at oh shit. Look,
bro.
Show the fire. Is this the board? Bro, it was literally a fire. We took it to the board. You see the board? Oh, we're fire! Yo!
Bro, I'm jumping.
Earlier today, you did your blessings, you did your prayers. Remember that, bro.
It's literally graves.
This looks like a graveyard watch or something.
No, it's not. Bro, I see it. Yo, it's the board. It's the board and the planchette.
No, what's the planchette?
Oh my god. Bro, I'm not touching it.
Say goodbye. Oh, say goodbye. Try to say goodbye. Oh, the board is burnt. Oh my god. The board is burnt. Oh, so I don't know the board. That was the board. That was the f***ing board.
So do I just say goodbye?
Oh my god. Oh my god, bro.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye. Just say goodbye.
Brian finally manages to say goodbye on the Ouija board and gets himself out of there. But here's the question that lingers. Was any of this real, or was the whole thing an elaborately staged livestream stunt? That call is entirely yours to make. A Reddit user going by the handle Dry Selection 421 uploaded a clip to the True Cryptozoology subreddit that was allegedly captured in Argentina sometime in 2010. The video itself is heavily pixelated and hard to watch clearly, but the original post explains that the person filming had stepped outside at night after spotting something strange moving around in the area near their home.
Já foi, vai tocar uma bola, né? Mira, se está viniendo para acá. Está cruzando la calle, guacho. Se fue.
See what you think. As you can tell, there's what looks like a small humanoid shape making its way down the street before disappearing out of frame entirely. The resolution makes it tough to pick up any real detail, but the creature's build and the way it moves have kept people guessing for well over a decade now. Among the most widely discussed explanations is the possibility that this could be a duende. In Latin American tradition, a duende is a small, human-like supernatural entity, often likened to a dwarf, gnome, or leprechaun. Accounts of duendes differ depending on the region, but they tend to be characterized as unpredictable trickster beings that show up without warning and vanish just as suddenly. Some people watching the clip are convinced the whole thing is a staged setup, while others point out that the terrible footage quality makes it virtually impossible to draw any firm conclusions. Either way, it's the kind of video that tends to stick with you long after you've watched it. Was this genuinely a mythical duende, or could there be a more grounded explanation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Our next video follows a young girl as she makes her way home one night somewhere in the southern United States, but it looks like she may not have made that journey alone, and whatever came back with her doesn't quite look like it belongs to this world. The following video was recorded late at night by a woman alone in her home with her child to keep her company. This woman had been hearing something she couldn't explain, the sound of kitchen chairs scraping across the floor in the next room, even though she was certain no one else was there. Her partner was at work. It was just her and the baby. So she did what so many people do now. She pulled out her phone, held her child, and decided to check for herself. You can hear her whispering as she moves toward the door, trying to keep her child quiet, half talking herself into going further. Watch.
So it's just us here, and Henry's at work, and I've been hearing my kitchen chairs out there. Shh. And I'm freaking the fuck out right now. Shh. Ready?
Hello?
The moment she opens that door, a single loud bang hits from inside the dark room. Then, when she calls out, "Hello," a wooden dining chair launches violently across the floor straight toward her with no one visible behind it. She screams, and the footage goes completely chaotic. Some believe the chair was thrown as a warning, a deliberate, aggressive response to being approached. Others think whatever was in that room had been waiting. The child's cries in the background make this one genuinely hard to sit with. What would you have done if you were the one holding that door open? In this next clip, a man who appears to be a cinema employee is closing up the building late at night. Most of the lights already off, the lobby quiet, the hallways empty, the way only a theater gets after the last showing clears out. He's walking through the corridor past the blue and white walls and a Spider-Man cutout hanging from the ceiling when something stops him in his tracks. He says he was about to head out, that he'd already shut off the main lights, but then he hears it. Knocking. Coming from inside the locked family restroom at the end of the hall. He knocks back, asks out loud who's there, and when nothing answers, he tells whatever's on the other side that it doesn't belong here. Watch.
Ya me iba a subir por mis cosas. Ya salí. De hecho ya apagué estas luces, nada más dejé los de las salas y me están tocando la puerta. Este es el baño que está aquí abajo del cine, el familiar. Y ¿quién eres? Tú no perteneces aquí. Creo que... ¡Puta madre! Voy a agarrar esta cosa y voy a poner el celular fijo para que no vayan a pensar que hay cortes de cámara o algo, porque quiero hacer algo. Quiero hacer algo. Quiero... Es que... Quiero... Ahí está. Acá lo voy a dejar. Perfecto. Aquí va, que no hay corte. Quiero que vean que no hay nadie. Voy a prender el flash. Acá estoy yo. Yo mejor me voy. Voy a dejar esto en su lugar. Y vámonos mejor. No sé qué ando haciendo estas cosas. Porque si el momento que me están espantando, mejor debería ya irme.
The knocking isn't subtle. It comes in waves. 3 sharp raps, then frantic banging, then silence, then more. And what makes it harder to dismiss is that it responds. When he knocks, something knocks back. He sets up his phone on a stanchion to get a static shot of the door, and when the knocking starts again, he points at the door's glossy surface and claims he can see a small hand. The camera doesn't confirm it clearly, but his reaction does. He opens the door, steps inside, turns on the light. The bathroom is completely empty. He closes the door, says, "No, I'd better leave," and you can hear his footsteps quicken into a run as he heads for the exit. Skeptics will say the sound carries strangely in empty buildings, pipes, acoustics, pressure changes. But responsive knocking from an empty locked room is a different conversation entirely. So what was on the other side of that door? This next video comes from the same account, and both clips appear to be recorded inside the same home. A cluttered, dimly lit space that, according to the footage, has been showing signs of something the person filming isn't quite able to explain away. In the first clip, it's nighttime, and the man behind the camera is outside the building, moving toward a glass door while clearly frightened. You can hear it in his voice. He's praying out loud in Spanish, repeating the same phrase over and over. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. The blood of Christ has power. It's the kind of prayer you say when you're not sure what you're walking into. Watch.
El nombre sea de Dios. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder.
As he approaches the glass, a figure is visible in the reflection, a silhouette of a head and upper torso apparently standing outside the room, looking out. He pushes through the door, exhales sharply, and pans the space. No one's there. The fan, the shelves, the couch, an empty room. Whatever was visible in that glass was gone the moment he stepped inside. Some viewers immediately pointed to the concept of a shadow person, a term used in paranormal communities to describe dark humanoid forms that appear briefly and vanish before they can be properly observed. Others think the reflection itself could be a trick of light and angle, though that explanation is harder to hold on to when you hear the fear in his voice before he even opens the door. The second clip appears to have been recorded the same night, this time from inside the home, in complete silence. There's no audio at all. What there is, though, is a timestamp on screen reading 3:33 a.m., a time that carries its own weight in paranormal tradition, sometimes called the witching hour, a mirror of 3 a.m. but linked in modern folklore to demonic rather than angelic presence. Watch.
De la mañana, están los golpes a todo lo que da. Ya despertaron a mi hija los gritos, los toquidos. Se logra ver algo. Me percaté de algo ahí en la ventana. Hay algo en la ventana, creo. O me lo estoy imaginando. Veo algo ahí en la ventana. Ahí hay algo, amigos. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Lárgate de aquí. Lárgate. Ahí hay algo, amigos. Miren. Voy a ver si se ve. No mamen. Ahí había algo, lo juro por Dios. Está todo bien cerrado. Vieron que ahí había algo. Ahí se veía algo, lo juro por Dios. Ahí había algo. Con la luz se desvanece. Ahí había algo. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no perteneces aquí, va en la hora, amigos. Siempre a la misma hora. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. El que habita el abrigo del Altísimo morará bajo la sombra del Omnipotente. Es hora de estar encerrado. Sangre de Cristo tiene poder.
Within paranormal folklore, 3:33 a.m. has developed a reputation as a significant hour, often described in modern supernatural traditions as a time when alleged paranormal activity is at its strongest. While these beliefs have no scientific basis and vary widely between traditions, the hour has become deeply associated with ghost stories, alleged hauntings, and reports of unexplained knocking. Believers sometimes interpret repeated knocking as an unseen presence attempting to draw attention or announce itself, while skeptics point to expanding building materials, plumbing, animals, or ordinary environmental noises that can sound remarkably deliberate in the quiet of the night. Whether the reflection and the knocking were connected, or whether the family experienced two unrelated coincidences on different nights, the timing has left many viewers wondering if something really was trying to get their attention before dawn. This next clip was captured on a Ring home security camera at 4:41 in the morning, inside what appears to be an ordinary living room. Two couches, a staircase in the background, a large window along the right wall. Nobody was awake. Nobody was moving. The house was completely still. Watch. She insisted there was no airflow in the house that morning and said she'd reviewed the footage repeatedly without finding an ordinary cause. One detail that immediately caught viewers' attention was the timing. Earlier that same night, her ex-partner had unexpectedly come by the house to collect some belongings without warning. Some people wondered whether the emotional tension surrounding that visit had anything to do with the strange footage. Others took a very different view, suggesting the white mist resembled what they believed to be a protective presence rather than something threatening. Then the conversation took another turn. Several viewers asked whether she had recently lost someone close to her. Her answer made many people rethink the clip. She revealed that a close friend had passed away 6 years earlier, and the anniversary happened to fall during the very same week this footage was recorded. She also admitted that she'd been thinking about that friend constantly in the days leading up to the incident. Within many spiritual traditions, unexplained white mist or glowing forms are sometimes interpreted as benevolent apparitions or protective spirits, particularly when they appear during periods of grief or emotional vulnerability. Some people believe that anniversaries of a loved one's death can coincide with experiences they interpret as signs or visits. Whether the camera captured nothing more than an optical artifact, or whether the timing, her memories of her friend, and the unexplained white figure were somehow connected, is a conclusion every viewer has to reach for themselves. In this next clip, a man decides to explore what looks like a dark, cluttered attic or storage room late at night, armed with nothing but his phone and its attached light. The space is cramped and messy, exposed wooden beams overhead, debris scattered across the floor, old Christmas decorations and picture frames leaning against the walls. He's barely been in there a few seconds before he does what a lot of people do in a situation like this. He asks,
"Any ghosts or spirits in here, make your presence known, please." Bro, that thing just fell off the table. That just fell off the table right now. Put you on my chest so I can hold the flight. That literally just fell off the table, like flew off the table. It was right here. It was right up there, and it flew off the table.
The moment he finishes saying, "Make your presence known, please," something flies off a nearby table and crashes onto the floor with a loud bang. He pans down immediately, clearly rattled, picks up the object, 2 rolls of paper taped together, and then points the camera back at the table to show you the empty spot where it had just been sitting. The timing is what's hard to get around. Not after a few seconds, not after he walks near the table, right as the words leave his mouth. Some viewers think this is a textbook poltergeist response, where objects don't just fall, but seem to react to human intent or attention. Skeptics argue vibration from his footsteps could have nudged it loose, but if you watch how quickly it moves, nudged might be the wrong word entirely. So what do you think caused it? In this next clip, a woman is filming inside a dark room at night when she notices her cat, Sasuke, behaving strangely, sitting on the couch, head tilted all the way back, staring up at something near the ceiling. She calls his name, asks him what he's looking at. Watch.
Sasuke.
Animals are widely believed to sense things humans simply can't, and whatever Sasuke locked onto in that upper corner of the room, she couldn't see it at the time. But after reviewing the clip, she noticed a shadow-like figure moving through the same area Sasuke had been watching. Unlike traditional ghost sightings, shadow figures are often described as lacking facial features or clear detail, appearing instead as silhouettes that seem darker than the surrounding darkness itself. But for many viewers, the unsettling part isn't just the shadow. It's the fact that, according to her, the cat appeared to be watching that exact spot long before the figure became noticeable on camera. Whether the footage captured an optical illusion, or something moving through the room that only became visible on playback, is what keeps people replaying the clip. This next video was recorded inside a home kitchen by what appears to be a high-angle security camera positioned in the corner of the room, capturing everything from a wide, slightly distorted view that misses nothing. It's a completely ordinary afternoon. A man is at the sink, washing dishes, singing along to Spanish language music playing in the background, the whole scene casual and relaxed in the way that only makes what follows feel stranger. Nothing about this kitchen suggests anything is wrong. Then, this happens. Watch.
Pero hace, no sé por qué no estás conmigo, amor, amor, amor prohibido. Oh, oh. Money, 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 money. No estás conmigo, amor, amor, amor prohibido. What the f? Holy shit. What the fuck was that? Oh. I'm out.
He looks around the room like he's trying to find a rational explanation. That's when it gets worse. The second he leaves the frame, something is violently thrown towards the direction he was standing before. What makes this harder to dismiss is the sequence of it. A small warning first, as if something was testing the space, and then the main event the moment the man turned his back and walked away. Some viewers think the two incidents are connected, like whatever was in that kitchen waited just long enough for him to leave before making its real presence known. Others point to the high chair specifically, noting that in a lot of reported activity, objects associated with children seem to be the focal point, but I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. The following video was captured inside a hospital by Dave, a man who claims he's been gifted with sight since he was young. According to him, he doesn't just sense things, he sees and hears them, and he says spirits tend to follow him, especially in places where emotions are intense, like hospitals, cemeteries, abandoned buildings, places where life and death have crossed paths. While Dav was receiving treatment, he suddenly felt like he wasn't alone in the room. Watch.
There's like something in this room. That is like moving like the chairs. Move this shit around here. Oh, my bad. That should hurt. But anyways, if there's a spirit in here, just let me know. You know. And sometimes things this is Kaiser. Oh, but I felt like a really heavy presence in this room right when I walked in, but I just thought I see something sitting right there. I'm sorry. My phone. That's not good. There's a lot of things happening here. Again, that door slowly opened and closed right now. If there's anything in here, just give me a sign. I'm here, confused. Okay, you can say anything. Just don't mess with my heart monitor or anything. That started to move. But it could be people out there. I just came up in here. Saw you guys here, TV or something. Move anything you want. Let the people know that you're here. Speak into this thing. Show me your hair, presence. You could, I got a gift, and I'm not afraid. So if you decide to move anything, open that door again, I won't be frightened. What the hell? Oh. Whoa, shh. Excuse me, nurse. Oh, that's some activity. Excuse me. This thing fell. Right here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just fell.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I was just sleeping.
Well, that scared you, huh?
Yeah, it scared the shit.
I was worried. I thought you fell.
Oh, no.
It wasn't you. Alright.
Okay, people, that was a scary situation. I know I didn't jerk, but yeah, it's ghost activity. Oh my god. Oh, crap. Well, I got the gift, but I'm not gonna abuse it. I just asked for, little signs here and there. They showed them to me. Nothing to be alarmed about, people. Didn't feel it was evil at all. But whoa! I know you guys heard that over there. Woo! Anyways, God bless you guys. I'm not gonna entertain them anymore because I don't need my heart to go racing. God bless you guys. But anyways, I was gonna cut this video short, but right when I was gonna cut it short, something else happened. But I'm waiting for it to happen again. So this right here, mind you, this is the only sliding door that's open. But this right here pulled all the way back this way. So what happened last time was I was asking it for a sign, and it pushed over this metal thing right here. I had to tell the nurse I was sleeping because I didn't want her to think I did the shit, or I just told her I don't know. I didn't know what to, make up, but this shit is, it's crazy, And all I asked is for a sign, and they gave them to me. But the thing is, I'm used to it when there are signs, But in hospitals, there's a lot of activity, and I already know I'm gonna find something, that would give me a sign or whatever. Oh, just like that. That was up there under my sweater or some shit. Okay. I know you're not welcome here, so you can go back to wherever you come from. Because I'm gonna take a nap. And this arm right here you can't do nothing with it. It hurts. So I gotta lay on my side right here. Hey people, God bless you, blessings, and man, pray for me.
If you listen closely, after he says, "I'm here for peace," a faint whisper can be heard saying, "Help," and then what sounds like "knife." That detail is what unsettled viewers the most. Some speculate it could be the spirit of someone who passed away in that very room, possibly someone connected to surgery or a traumatic procedure. Hospitals are places of healing, but they're also places of loss, fear, and unfinished stories. In paranormal theory, strong emotional events can leave behind residual energy, like a recording that replays under the right conditions. Others believe this could be an intelligent haunting, meaning whatever is there is aware and responding directly to Dave, especially since the whisper appears right after he speaks. During his stay, Dave also mentioned feeling a heavy presence near the chair in the room. He said the energy felt concentrated there, like someone was sitting and watching him, but when he looked, no one was there. Of course, skeptics argue hospitals are full of ambient noise, machines humming, distant voices, equipment moving, and audio pareidolia can make random sounds seem like words. According to them, when you expect to hear something, your brain can fill in the blanks. So was it simply hospital acoustics playing tricks on the ears? Or did someone or something in that room hear him when he said he came in peace and answered back? You decide. In this next video, Andrea is walking her dog late at night when something in the distance makes her stop. At first, she thinks it's just her eyes adjusting to the dark, but then she notices shapes that don't look quite right. So she pulls out her phone and starts recording. Have a look. In the distance, 3 shadow figures appear to be standing completely still. Some believe they could simply be people standing under poor lighting, their features swallowed by the darkness. At night, depth perception becomes unreliable. Streetlights can distort proportions, and shadows can merge together, making ordinary figures look unnaturally tall or solid black. But others argue something feels off. In paranormal discussions, shadow figures are often described exactly this way: human-shaped, lacking detail, and usually seen in peripheral vision. They're said to be watchers, observers, and in some reports, they appear in groups of 2 or 3. The fact that there are 3 of them standing together raises even more concern for believers. Some theories suggest that multiple figures appearing at once could indicate something more intelligent or coordinated, not residual energy, but active presence. As for danger, most accounts claim shadow entities don't always attack, but they can induce fear, paralysis, or a feeling of being targeted, and fear is something certain entities feed off. Whatever they were, one thing is clear: they weren't moving, and they were aware enough to stand there while being filmed. Until clear footage surfaces, what Andre saw that night remains a mystery. Now in this next video, a team of paranormal investigators visit an abandoned house that locals have refused to go near for years. The place has been empty for decades, and as many paranormal researchers will tell you, abandoned buildings have a way of holding onto energy. When houses are left to decay, especially ones tied to unknown histories, tragedies, or sudden departures, believers say the energy inside can become stagnant, trapped. So the team sets up their equipment: EMF readers, cameras, and most importantly, trip wires. For those unfamiliar, trip wires are extremely sensitive devices designed to trigger if something physically passes through them. Not wind, not distant vibration, but something crossing the line. As they begin asking questions, trying to provoke a response, this happens.
And see what's popping. Nope, that's not a new tripwire. That's the same tripwire that we use at the breakfast date, that I've used in other places. Okay. That door just opened up by itself. I didn't even get that far. Dude. This door just opened up by itself. Here we go. Wait. Crazy, right? That was me. I bumped into the table here. If you heard something rattle, that was me. But that door opening up.
The trip wires suddenly went nuts, and then, almost on cue, the door slowly opens by itself. Skeptics argue structural shifts could trigger the wires, but paranormal experts would say something else entirely. They believe abandoned spaces can act like containers, especially if something tragic happened there. If investigators actively try to communicate, they're essentially knocking on whatever door exists between worlds. And sometimes, something knocks back. Abandoned buildings already carry risk, unstable floors, toxic air, human squatters. But if something unseen is also moving through the halls, that's a different kind of danger. So was this structural coincidence, or did something in that house finally respond to being called out? You decide. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. Watch closely. If you pause at the right moment, you'll notice a dark figure leaning against a tree before it suddenly darts away. At first, Simone brushed it off. Maybe it was a trick of the light, maybe someone was hiding. But what unsettled her wasn't just what she saw, it was what she felt after leaving the area. Even when she had completely walked past the tree line, she couldn't shake the sensation that someone was still behind her, matching her pace. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. This time, she went in. As she steps inside the dark room, look toward the right side of the door near the end of the clip. Something shifts behind it. Simone later said that's when the idea first crossed her mind. What if whatever she saw near the tree wasn't random? What if it was watching her? A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard a voice that sounded exactly like her sister calling her name.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are considered particularly dangerous. They don't just appear, they imitate familiar voices to lure people closer. When Simone stepped inside, she noticed a chair positioned strangely in the middle of the room. Before she could even finish talking, she saw the figure again. After that encounter, she convinced herself the entity was attached to the abandoned house, not her. But that assumption didn't last long, because soon after, her own home stopped being quiet. Banging at night, footsteps when she's alone, whispers she can't trace, and an overwhelming sense of fear that comes without warning. One day, a friend visited after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like, I've checked this door 5 times. There's no way anyone is in the backyard.
Yeah. So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment, a phenomenon where an entity fixates on a person rather than a place. And attachments, according to paranormal researchers, rarely fade on their own. It's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening. Now, this strange video was posted on December 27th, 2025 by a veterinary hospital in Madison, Alabama. But what makes it even more unsettling is that the footage itself had reportedly been kept private for nearly 4 years. According to the clinic's owner, Renee, something happened that night that caused all employees on shift to stop what they were doing. Have a look.
That's weird. Where is that coming from? It don't sound like it's coming from. Okay, so you still want to do banana bags, 15 mils an hour, head of starch, 4 mils an hour. It's coming from over this way. Alright. Medication, metronidazole, 15 mils BID, ID. Wait, is it scarlet? Clipped off. Wait. I clipped it off before getting meds. Is somebody trying to dog up there? What's coming from up there? They may have done that when they switched the bag. Is it the new bag for you? No. Alright, guys, can I get that? Help me. What's in the lobby? It's coming from the lobby. No, it's not. Where is that? It's not in here. What is that? What, phantom dollars? anything. What did you hear? A dog keeps yapping. Is it in Dakota? No. Look, it's coming from over here. Why don't you look in the front porch and make sure I didn't dump one or throw one in the pen outside or something? I didn't hear anything. You're not hearing that. Three of us heard it. I didn't hear it, no. You heard it, right? I heard it. I didn't hear it. It sounds like it's coming from this side. You can't hear it at ISA though, right? No. Look at that fence out there and make sure somebody throw one in the fence. I heard nothing. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, that's a brand new thing. That's fucking bizarre. It is? Yeah. I haven't heard it. I still haven't heard it. All three of us heard it. And it was coming from that. It sounded like it was in that room or something. Like it sounded like it was like right from your board. We're going to play that back. I didn't even hear anything. Can you play it like specifically in those rooms or anything?
After reviewing the footage, Renee says there was no logical explanation for what they witnessed. And this wasn't an isolated event. Over time, strange activity became almost routine inside the clinic. Dog kennels securely latched would open on their own in the middle of the night. Office supplies and lightweight equipment were found scattered across rooms that had been locked. Staff members reported hearing scratching sounds coming from empty runs long after the last patient had gone home. Sometimes motion sensors would trigger in rooms where no animal was being treated. For a veterinary hospital, that detail hits differently. Because this isn't just any building, it's a place filled with heightened emotion, fear, grief, relief, heartbreak. It's where some families say goodbye to beloved pets, and many pet owners will tell you that after their animal passes, they still hear the faint scratch at the door, still feel the weight at the foot of the bed, still think they see a quick shadow dart past in the hallway. Some believe animals, especially loyal ones, linger, and that's the theory whispered among staff, that perhaps some of the dogs who passed away in that clinic never fully left, that the scratching isn't imagination, and that the kennel's opening isn't mechanical failure. So what do you think? Is it residual energy, emotional imprints replaying themselves, or something else using the setting to its advantage? Renee says she doesn't know what's in her clinic, but she's no longer convinced it's empty after closing time. The following clip was captured by Amanda, who's had some of the strangest encounters inside her home. About 2 weeks after she moved in, she woke up one morning to shocking news. A body had been found in her backyard. And according to Amanda, ever since that day, the house hasn't felt the same. Have a look.
I am freaked the f out. I just got home and tell me why my chairs are like this. Like what the f? I literally still have my coat on. I come walking through the fucking... Oh my god. I'm like shaking right now. I just went and dropped my daughter off to her dad's house. And all the chairs were around the table. What the f? Oh my god. I need to call my mom.
Chairs don't end up like this by accident, and this is not something caused by drafts, pets, or structural shifts. In paranormal discussions, this kind of activity is often linked to an intelligence trying to be noticed, especially when the setup is visually striking rather than destructive. Since then, Amanda says doors open on their own, lights flicker and malfunction, and the house feels different, heavier, quieter, like something is always just out of view. Some believe the discovery of the body may have triggered residual energy tied to trauma, while others think the attention and disturbance surrounding the property may have awakened something that was already there. Skeptics argue stress and fear can heighten awareness, making ordinary issues feel sinister, but others point out that recurring physical changes, especially ones involving multiple objects, are harder to dismiss. Now, Amanda just wants to know one thing. Is there a chance this all has a normal explanation? Or is this a situation that requires real intervention before it escalates? What do you think? This next video was captured by a family's security camera, installed after everyone in the house woke up to a loud bang in the middle of the night, followed by several other unsettling incidents they couldn't explain. Hoping to catch whatever was happening, they set up cameras. Take a look. Aside from the obvious breathing sound, viewers immediately notice something else. On the right side of the screen, along the staircase, something moved. When the family reviewed this footage, it made other moments fall into place. Just weeks earlier, the sister of one of the couples living here called her and asked what she was doing standing on her front porch. Now here's the problem. She wasn't home. She was at work, nowhere near the house. But the anxiety in the house escalated when the family noticed their dogs reacting. Watch this.
What is wrong, Cole? Stop arguing.
Connor! Knock it off! Hey! Barking at the door again. No one's there. Go on a queen. No one's there, honey. Nobody's here. It's all good. It's all good in the hood.
The dog repeatedly barks at the door, staring at it with focus. Not playful, not distracted, but locked in, as if responding to something it can sense but humans can't. Animals are often said to react to subtle changes in energy, sound frequencies, or presence long before people do. And when pets fixate on empty spaces, doors, or corners, many believe it's because something unseen has crossed into our world. And if you look at the activities they've experienced, the breathing caught on camera, the movement on the stairs, the mimic sighting on the porch, and the dogs reacting, this no longer feels like a single incident. It feels like a pattern. So could this be heightened anxiety and coincidence? Or is something inside the house slowly making itself known, watching, copying, and waiting? You decide. Now, in this next video, Nate, who's been trying to get to the bottom of whatever is happening inside his house, captures something new on camera. By now, his experiences follow a disturbing pattern. He wakes up to objects scattered across his kitchen floor, his dog refuses to enter certain corners of the house, and the sound of footsteps moving along the stairs when no one else is home. One night, while waiting for a UFC fight to start, he begins hearing something unusual. Listen closely.
Guys, I want you guys to check this out. So, I'm just chilling here, waiting for the UFC fights to start. Dog's there. And I'm just sitting here. I was re-racking my weights. And I was hearing the scratching. And it sounded like it was coming from like right in front of me. But I don't see anything. Like, up. I heard it. But I was like looking. And it sounded like it was coming from like... You hear that? What the f*** is that? It sounded like it was coming from like right in front here, but I don't see anything else. What the f***? Like, I have no clue.
Hearing scratching or dragging sounds can mean something is trying to mark territory or test physical boundaries, especially when it happens repeatedly in the same areas of a home. Another detail viewers couldn't ignore is Nate's environment. His house is almost always dark. Many believe prolonged darkness, cluttered spaces, and low lighting can make activity feel stronger, either by heightening fear or, according to paranormal belief, by creating conditions where negative entities feel more comfortable. Another night, a different sound woke him. This time, it wasn't scratching, it was stomping, and when Nate got up to check the house, this happened.
Hey guys. So I was upstairs and was woken up to the sound of stomping down here. I mean, loud stomping. It is currently 2:52 a.m. So it's a little before 3 a.m. And the weird thing about it is when I woke up to the sound of the stomping, the dog was sleeping, not even alerted. It's almost like she couldn't hear it. So, as soon as I came down, I walked into like a cold spot. It felt like a certain area was cold. But it was loud. It was such a loud stomp. Like I said, it's 2:53 a.m.
Scratching, stomping, footsteps, all familiar at this point. But what truly unsettled him was something else entirely. His dog didn't react. Normally, animals respond instantly to loud physical sounds, yet during the stomping, his dog remained unusually calm, as if it either couldn't hear it or didn't perceive it the same way Nate did. Some believe the dog may have already learned to avoid reacting, but this concern quickly became secondary. Because the next morning, Nate woke up to something far more disturbing: scratches on his body. If this had happened once, it's easy to say he accidentally scratched himself while he was asleep, a reaction to fabric, even stress-related skin irritation. But it didn't stop. It kept happening. And on the morning after the stomping incident, he recorded this. Watch.
So the people that were asking for a better view of the scratch that I woke up with on my leg. Here it is. Like I said, it's not super deep, but it goes down pretty far. And I also noticed on the opposite side, I have two here on the same leg, but on the opposite side, that I woke up this morning with. Now, these ones didn't burn as bad as this one. This one was 2 mornings ago when I woke up. This burned, and I looked down and saw that. And then this morning when I got up at like 2:30 a.m., I woke up to stomping downstairs. And it wasn't until after I worked out and everything that I noticed these. So, yeah, that's the update.
As Nate shows the marks on his body, many viewers begin connecting everything. The scratching sounds at night, the dragging noises, the stomping footsteps, and now, physical marks appearing while he sleeps. This points to something more than a simple house haunting. Physical interaction, especially repeated scratching, is often cited in cases involving attachments rather than locations. Some believe this points towards something escalating, moving from environmental disturbances to personal interaction. Others think whatever is in the house may be trying to assert control, feeding on fear, isolation, or even exhaustion. And the most disturbing part, the activity isn't random anymore. It's consistent, and it's getting closer. So whether it's an attachment, an oppressive presence, or something feeding off the darkness and silence, one thing is clear. Whatever this is, it's no longer staying in the shadows. And until Nate gets answers, this case remains deeply unsettling and completely unsolved.